Hello, hello. So I'm not big on saying the whole tagline of like, whoever this resonates for, or take this as it may apply, like, you know what I mean? However, the Lord does give messages for certain individuals because, like I say all the time on my channel, not everyone is on the same path, right? Some people are starting, some people are, this doesn't apply to at all, whatever. So there's different dynamics. So it's hard to just always give a general message. Sometimes the Lord gives me general messages, which is a one size fits all. But this one here and others that I give in this kind of category, this lane, are quite specific. Okay, so if this doesn't apply to you, it doesn't apply to you. But for those of you that it does, this is the word of the Lord. Okay. And I'm going to start off by saying this is specifically, particularly for chosen ones, okay, as most of my messages are. So I just got out of the shower, and the Lord was giving me a revelation in the shower. And He was talking to me, like, so when I first started out my channel, say the first year, the Lord gave me very general messages, right? They apply, not all of them, but some of them applied to me, but for the most part, they were fairly generalized. But I've noticed that in the last two seasons, right? So like fall season, winter season, he's been giving me messages that apply to the general collective like usual, but also to me specifically. So please bear with me. Like, the Lord has shown me that some people will tune into my messages, and because they have a spirit of Satan, they don't have the ears to hear, right? They don't hear properly. So they hear me speaking the way I do, and they assume, like all people who are skewed by the devil, that I run in a spirit of ego and I'm arrogant and I'm this and I'm not humble and blah, blah, blah. None of that is true. I'm actually, honestly, the most humble person I know. And the Lord, if I ever question it, the Lord confirms it to me all the time, right? It's that I'm kind of in a way nudged to speak in the context I do because that's how the Lord is having me deliver it, right? So I just want to say that as a disclaimer. um so yeah, so if I speak from my own context, just put it where it fits for you, right? Because I'll flip back and forth. Sometimes I'm talking in a broad way to the collective, like you, the audience, but then I'm also speaking from my point of view as well, because of the fact that I'm a chosen one on the journey, just like you're a chosen one on the journey. So of course some of these things are going to apply to me directly, not all things, but some things, and some things will apply to you, right? Because you and I are on the same wavelength or same page. Okay, like I said, this is how the Lord showed it to me, but I know it's not just for me. So if it was just for me, He would have let me know that. But no, He wants me to make a video about it. So therefore, I got the information, revelation, and confirmation for myself. But in this circumstance, He also wants me to put it out as a general message for someone that it may also apply to, right? And as usual, if it's for you, the Lord will lead you to it, right? In His own perfect timing. So with that said, when I was in the shower, the Lord was giving me an individual personal revelation, okay? But this is something that's happened to me, but not just to me, but to others as well, okay? So I'm going to speak about it back and forth, but I'm going to start out from my perspective because that's how the Lord gave it to me. It's hard to explain, but bear with me. Anyways, so the Lord was saying that there is somebody who has tried to basically, like, well, do several things, but this is not new. We already know this. If you're a chosen one, this sounds resonates for you and sounds familiar, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But there's somebody in particular, several people, of course, but someone in particular, a female who has tried to personify me. Okay, so what do I mean? For example, like, okay, say for instance with myself or even you, say you're the type that, I wouldn't say high maintenance, but just say you're the type that, like, likes to look nice, not, you don't have to have fancy things, but like say you like to, like, be fresh. You like to shower daily, maybe put on some makeup on a regular basis, wear nice clean clothes, match everything, hair brushed and combed and like straightened or curled, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you like to look, I wouldn't say like over the top or anything, but you like to look fresh. And there's somebody in my case, and perhaps yours if this fits, that tried to do, there was, the Lord showing me several means. There was, yes, there was the typical like evil eye, evil energy, witchcraft, dark arts means, but then there was also a means of doing this through a person to person type of a thing, where they were like trying to tell lies, trying to plant negative, bad seeds, making you look like someone you're not, like, where you couldn't win no matter what you did, right? Like, so if you did yourself up, like you were looking fresh on a regular basis, they would try and plant seeds in people's head and say that you're really high maintenance and you care too much about your appearance, you're so vain, blah, 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 which wouldn't be true, but that's what they would try to exaggerate. And then say if then you decided, say you were sick for a week and you didn't do anything, you were just ponytails and sweatpants, and again, men, apply this to you, fit it where it fits. Then they would go and say, oh, see, they're a slob, they don't care about themselves, they let themselves go, blah, blah, blah. So you really couldn't win for trying. Like, if you were, say you were 100 pounds, you're too skinny, you're not curvy enough, you need to eat more, you're starving yourself, you have an eating disorder. Say you were 200 pounds, oh, you're too heavy, you're too overweight, you need to stop eating, you slow down, you're guilty of gluttony, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing, is that this individual in particular, several, but the Lord is highlighting like one or two people in particular, that no matter what you did, they tried to plant seeds of over exaggeration and just a poor perception of you. So no matter what you did, you looked bad. Okay, this was done intentionally so that the people that had a good outlook on you, they thought that you were attractive, so that they saw you as unattractive. People that thought that you were healthy, like you had healthy habits, they saw you as unhealthy. People that liked your personality, they saw it from a skewed perspective, that say you're an honest person, this person would try to portray that maybe you're actually dishonest. Like, say you got caught in a lie one time, and I mean, everybody's told one white lie in their life, this would be blown out of proportion to where, oh, see, I knew it, they're a big liar underneath the facade, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? And so the Lord was showing that there's somebody that was doing this to me specifically, but also to others. Okay, this is the plight of a chosen one, is when you're a chosen one, you attract jealousy, as we all already know. That's redundant, right? And so what this person was doing, because this is what they were doing for a long time, the Lord showed me in the past, like, this wasn't just 2 or 3 times, this was like over and over and over, constantly, either like physically, verbally planting these seeds of negative things, basically, of doubt, and for other people to pick up and grow in regard to you, or simultaneously we're doing like these dark art things to try to achieve this goal. So whether it was spiritually or physically or both, which the Lord is showing me a back and forth, this person was trying so hard to do this, and it's because they several reasons, but the Lord was showing me this in particular, is that they pride themselves on being so gifted. They think that they're just so gifted. They think they're so clever, so strategic, they have the gift of gab. They take pride in the fact that they're able to do things like this, like swindle and sway. They think that they could sell ice to an Eskimo type thing. And so this is narcissism in its finest form, right? But this is a form of narcissism. But this is a covert narcissist, where, we see the narcissist where they're looking in the mirror 24/7. They think they're so great. This person feels that way, but they know that that's off-putting. So in order to make these things, they also pride themselves on this, by the way, to make these things go off without a hitch, so to speak, they have to hide it under a cover of, and I talk about this, they're basically a demon and devil, but of course nobody wants to play or hang out with or listen to devils and demons, right? So instead, they know this, and they think, oh, I'm so smart, I've picked up on this. So they put on this cloak or disguise of an angel. And I don't want to say angel because they don't come off as an angel. They don't. They wish they did, but they don't. You can see that this person has some issues, even when talking to them, right? But the Lord was showing that underneath it all, the issues are like 100% or even 90%, but they try to portray that the issues are only like 10 or 20%, okay? So anyways, this is what this person has been doing, okay? They pride themselves on being so gifted. They think they're like so spiritually cunning and like clever and all the agile and all this stuff, right? But the Lord was saying to me, this person's gifted, but they're not gifted. And I was like, what do you mean by that? Gifted but not gifted. And the Lord showed me an example of, like, say somebody is really smart in school and they have honors and therefore they receive a scholarship for a college or a university, right? A full ride scholarship. They technically received a gift or an honor. But if that person chooses to not attend the college or university and use that scholarship, then it goes to waste, right? So they were gifted something via the scholarship, but they're not gifted because they never actually applied it. So gifted but not gifted. That's how this person is this person does have gifts and they pride themselves on it, but because they're not using them effectively or appropriately, therefore they're not actually truly gifted, if that makes sense. And that's the thing, is that this person, they kind of know this, they know they're inadequate in some ways, and the things the Lord is showing me, that the things they're lacking you have. So say they're gifted and you're gifted all the same, okay, but you have the ability to use your gifts effectively and appropriately. They cannot use their gifts effectively and appropriately, and one of the reasons why they cannot is because they're ran by the devil and you're ran by God. So therefore, just that in and of itself makes an open door for you and a closed door for them, right? That in and of itself makes them very envious and jealous of you, because they understand that they're lacking in certain. So it's a typical narcissist where they feel superior, but but underneath it all they're actually inferior. The reason why they have to act and feel superior is because they're actually inferior. Do you know what I'm saying? Like short man syndrome, as they call it, where like a man is short, it makes him feel insecure, so therefore he has to make up for it with money and bling and jewelry and like material items, right? Because of the fact that he actually feels insecure and inferior inside for being so short compared to other men, right? Do you know what I'm saying? That's how this person is. So again, this applies for men with men, right? And women with women. Like, or it could even be a woman doing this to a man or a man doing this to a woman. But the Lord was typically showing me that if this resonates for you men, because this is for both, that this is a man doing this with you, and if this is a woman, then this woman doing this with you, okay? And so they constantly like compare themselves because they know that they have ABC, but they see that you have XYZ. And there may be similarities in one way or another. Like say they're good with the gift of gab, maybe you're good with the gift of gab. Maybe they're attractive, maybe you're attractive, right? But yours is in like an authentic way and theirs is not, right? Because of the fact that they're ran by the devil. So they understand that you feel that you're a good person, that you're chosen, you work for the Lord, blah, blah, blah. They actually work for the devil, whether they do it intentionally or unintentionally. They may believe that they don't. They may believe that they're just on the same level as you, that they're as good as you, that if you work for God, so do they. You know, like they constantly try to assume that they're on your same level and they're not, okay? But they try to assume this. Because like I say, it's so funny because angels don't want to look like devils, but for some reason devils want to look like angels. I don't understand this. It's like, if you think you're so good at what you do, why don't you flex then? Why are you so busy trying to look, if your seed is bad and you know it deep to your core, why are you trying to make it look good? Whereas people that actually have good seed, they never want to look bad. You know, they don't try to look like they're evil or they're sinister, right? But for some reason, those that are sinister and evil want to look good. And so this is this person's biggest problem, is that this is why they lack the authenticity, the genuineness, you know, the ability to hone in on these gifts that they perceive they have, is because of this facade, right? You're not putting on a facade, they are, and they know that about you. And so all these little things that I'm rattling off, these are all the things and more that get under their skin about you. And this is why they feel that they would feel just so satisfied if they could try to take you down a few notches or a few pegs. And they, like we already know, you and I know, they've been at this game for not months, but years, okay? They've been trying at this for a long time, and they keep tripping and falling and failing, tripping and falling and failing. And instead of giving up, they just keep getting up and trying again, right? Because they're somehow hoping that this is what okay, so that's part one. Now we get into part two. The second part is that they've been able to, going back to what I was saying, say you were trying to put some work into your appearance, not anything over the top, but just general maintenance work into your appearance. They may have been the type that was more like plain and more like, you know, I don't know what the word is, but just like not putting the effort into that as much. On a scale of 1 to 10, you put effort in your appearance like a 6, and they were putting in like a 2, okay? They were trying to, through the spiritual arts and the physical arts that I already spoke about through these methods, trying to change things around. So say on a scale of 1 to 10 you're good with words like an 8 and they're good with words like a 3. They were trying to make it so that they had your vocabulary and that you had their limited vocabulary. They were trying to swap and switch, okay? So say on a scale of 1 to 10 you put an 8, or we'll say a 6 or 7, sorry, an effort into your appearance, and they put a 2. They were trying to swap that so that you were putting a 2 out of 10 effort in your appearance and they were putting a 7 out of 10 effort in their appearance. Say that you were physically active, a 7 out of 10, they were physically active, a 2 out of 10. They were trying to swap that so that they were physically active like you, a 7 out of 10, and you were physically active, a 2 out of 10 like them. Say that you knew how to cook, a 7 out of 10, they know how to cook, a 2 out of 10. They were trying to swap that. It doesn't matter, fill in the blank, basketball, sports, whatever. Your humor, your gift of laugh, like making people laugh, your humor, maybe on a humor scale you're funny like an 8 and they're funny like a 3. They were trying to make themselves funny an 8 and you were 3. You understand? They were trying to switch everything. If you were in a higher bracket, money wise, friend wise, social wise, and they were in a lower one, they tried to swap that over the course of these years' time, using these methods of making, so say you like had a decent personality, decent looks, and decent amount of people that thought you were decent, just say. They spent the last couple years, say, or whatever, putting in this, maybe even longer, but putting in this effort and energy to make you not as decent looking, to make you not as decent of a personality, to make people see you less decently, right? And put all that on them instead. So basically taking you from an 8 of a person down to a 2, and then from a 2 of a person up to an 8. But doing this through nefarious means, and also not earning this elevation themselves, but doing it through this swap. Okay, this is what they've been doing. And so because it looked successful to them, they saw them investing more effort and stuff into their appearance, and they saw you investing less. And because they noticed that their vocabulary improved and yours seemed to get worse, and because they noticed that people kind of turned their backs on you but started to receive them, they started to believe that whatever they were doing, spiritual, physical, or both, that these methods were paying off, that it was achieving what they wanted, that it was working in their favor, okay? So then they upped the ante, even though they were mistaken, by the way, but that's how it appeared. So then they upped the ante by thinking, well, let's go a step further here and let's go and totally swap destinies completely, like all the way across the board. So say if you were destined in the future, say 10 years from now, to own your own business and therefore be a millionaire, and they were destined to be destitute or in jail even, just say for example. Or say you were destined in 10 years to be in, have met your soulmate and be in this loving, committed, wonderful relationship, and they were destined to be divorced or widowed or alone or something. They thought because they were successful on the minor things, right, that then it twisted their mind even further. Their mind was already twisted, but it got even more twisted. This is the reprobate mind we talk about, to where they thought, well, let me just go all the way and work on the major things. Maybe I can, since I look successful over here, it's just a matter of time, effort, energy, and money and tweaking to make it so that I can, also receive, like, make the swap, so that they're the ones that are going to be poor and destitute and broke, and I'm the one that's going to run the successful business and be the millionaire. They can be the ones that are going to be alone or divorced or widowed, and I can be the one in the successful, happy marriage. You understand? They can be the one living in the apartment, on Main Street, and I'll be the one living in the 5-bedroom home. Whatever it was that was coming in for you down the plank, down the road, this is what they were trying to do, right? But the Lord is saying he shut it all the way down to where not only is the major stuff not going to work at all ever, and they're noticing this, they're realizing that this is a no-go, but he's also started to shut down the minor things as well. And so then you'd ask, well, why would this happen? Because this was needed and necessary to happen for several reasons. Maybe this was breaking a generational curse in your family. Maybe your passed on generations owed a karmic debt, and it fell on your shoulders, and so you had to go through this to clear up some debt that fell on you. Or it could be that the Lord was teaching this person a lesson, right? And in order for this person to fall into a pit, they would have had to do things that put them in the pit in the first place. If they're just living their life, minding their business, doing everything tickety-boo, the Lord can't very well come along and just uproot everything, right? Well, he could, but it works better this way, because then they learn a lesson. Maybe you were the one that needed to learn a lesson throughout this, and the Lord's saying all of the above. Okay, so in some cases it's A, B, and C. It's all of the above. Okay, I could go on and on. There's several different reasons why this would happen in the first place. Okay, and that's all between the Lord. That's all with the Lord, right? But the Lord is asking me more so to just focus on these like specific specific things that actually demonstrate, in a physical, tangible way of what I'm talking about. Okay, so yeah, so anyways, so that's pretty much the crux of the message, is that the Lord is just saying is that this is what the Lord was revealing to me in the shower. The Lord was basically, I've elaborated, of course, but the Lord is basically telling me, because I'm already aware that this has been going on with me personally, but that this is what, like, confirming, revealing, and confirming even more so, because like I always say, I get a few pieces of the puzzle, then down the road a few more, then down the road a few more, right? And so the Lord was highlighting to me that this is kind of more revelation, confirmation on my puzzle, my personal one, of what I've experienced, and that this person has tried very hard over the course of the last 6 months to not only maintain these minor things that thought they were successful in doing, but also trying to go for the gusto on these major things, right? And the Lord is saying that he's in the works right now as we speak of shutting and demolishing these things, deconstructing what they've been doing. And the only reason why they've been allowed to do it is because the Lord gave the green light. No different than how the Lord gave the green light when it came to Job, right? And so this is the thing, is that this person is going to learn a very tough lesson from this, right? Ultimately, they're going to learn, because the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Pride comes before the fall. And so all of this, they already were proud to begin with, but they're narcissistic. They have narcissistic qualities. They're being puppeted by the devil, whether they realize it or not. And they're the ones with the large ego and arrogance and pride. Okay, they know that that's off-putting, so they tried to make you look like you're the one with the pride, ego, arrogance, when in reality it's them. Their perception is skewed, and they were trying to skew other people's perceptions about you. Okay, and the only way that this can be successful for this person or others that they try to do this with is if they're ran by the devil. If said person is a chosen one or a person of God, this is not going to work. That person will have eyes to see and ears to hear. So not every single person in the world is ran by the devil, but a lot are, unfortunately, but not every one. So the Lord is saying there's some people that they were trying to run this game on in the past, and it didn't work with them. Whether this person they tried to do this to expressed it or not, it's irrelevant. It didn't work on them, because they could see spiritually and hear spiritually what this person was all about and what they were trying to do. Because when you're truly work for God and you're truly a chosen one, you can recognize demons, right? As we already know. But if you work for the devil and or you're a demon yourself, you're not going to necessarily, like, you may recognize demons and you'll recognize the good ones, like the good people, but your perception is off. This is the thing, is that those of God understand and know that 2 + 2 = 4. I talk about this example all the time on my channel. These demons with this demonic energy believe that 2 + 2 = 6. They have a reprobate mind, so they don't see things accurately. Okay, so therefore they don't pick up the little cues and the little nuances like a child of God does, right? And so this is the thing, is this person thinks it was really successful, but it wasn't as successful as they presumed it was. There was a lot of people they thought that this snowball worked on, but in actuality it didn't. Like, say they think that they fleet easily, like they successfully fleeced 100 people. The Lord's saying they only fleeced maybe 20 or 30, and the 20 or 30 that they successfully fleeced were demons anyways. So in the Lord's mind, they don't count. And again, this is the Lord's words, right? That's how the Lord sees it, is that the people that it did work on, that it was successful on, the Lord has something for them too. They're not going to get out of this unscathed. This main energy person is going to learn a major lesson through this that they sorely need. You were their teacher. You actually helped them. You led them to the pit that they fell into. They thought that they led you to a pit, but in actuality, you led them to it, right? Which, if you're a chosen one, you understand exactly what I'm saying, right? Um, so yeah, so anyways, and so yeah, they're going to suffer greatly for this, but this is something that has to happen, whether it be because their family, like their generations, owe a karmic debt and it fell on this person's shoulders. Maybe you were destined to play the role you did, and they were destined to play the role they did, and it's because y'all are playing out the generational karma debt that is on your shoulders. I don't know. I'm just saying this was destined. This was a destined chunk of time for you, and this was a destined chunk of time for them, and they're going to suffer in some way, shape, or form. The Lord is saying spiritually and physically, because they tried to make you suffer spiritually and physically through these spiritual tactics and these physical tactics. So the Lord is saying that you fall by your own sword, right? An eye for an eye, right? So you get what you give. So because they tried to use spiritual and physical tactics on you, spiritual and physical tactics will be used on them. They wanted you to fall spiritually and physically, they themselves are going to fall spiritually and physically. But the very same dish that they served you is the one they'll have to eat. And they know, they feel they're gifted enough to know this, and so they think that if they just continue to just go back to the same, because we know that there's nothing new under the sun, and the devil has to just play the same redundant hand over and over and over and over again, right? So they think that if they just can just keep at it, or do this or do that, or try this or try that, that eventually it's going to have to by consistency, right? You know, the old saying, like, whatever you're consistent at will eventually pay off, type of a thing. You have to get lucky sometime, right? That's all that they can use at this time, is just continually keeping up with this consistency, this repetition, because they don't have any other cards to play, and they're just hoping that, you know, eventually they're gonna strike gold, you know, at one point, if you just keep doing it, right? But we already know that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result, right? But that's what this person is doing, is they're guilty of doing the same thing over and over and over again, which is what they're doing, this game, and they're expecting a different result, but that different result is not showing up, it's not coming, and the Lord is saying it's not going to. And so they're literally driving themselves more and more insane by doing this repetitive thing that they've already failed at, thinking it's gonna, you know, the Lord's showing me somebody striking a match, and they're striking it and striking it and striking it. And we all know, if we've been in that position, if you strike a match 100 times, there's no whatever, like flint on, or whatever you want to call it, that's gonna light up. It's dead. The match is done. You're gonna have to find a different match. You know what I'm saying? This is the vision the Lord's showing me, and it's like this person has struck this same match 100 times, and they're like, it's gonna light, it's gonna light, it's gonna light, it's gonna light. This is what they're doing, and people are saying to them, it's not gonna light, it's not gonna light. Look at the match, it's literally whittled down to your fingers. The match, you know, you've been trying to strike this match for like 2 years, or well, not 2 years, but okay, Lord is saying like 2 months. Okay, so this person's been trying to strike this match for 2 months specifically. Sorry, I misspoke. And well, no, the Lord said I didn't. Okay, sorry. This person has been at this for at least 2 years. So that's a confirmation for some of you. But they've been doing this for 2 years, striking this match, this proverbial match. But in specific, the last 2 months, they've been going really just like in this, because it's been since then. So maybe 2 years ago, they were striking it and it was paying off to some way, not in dividends, but in some way. And the last 2 months, it's not paying off at all, and they're seeing this, and so they're really like, picture it, say you're trying to start a fire, you're going to start striking the match, and then say it strikes, and you're like, oh awesome, I started a fire, right? And then say the fire goes out, you're like, oh, I'll strike another one. And then every time that you want to relight that fire, every time you're striking that match, it took 10 strikes and it went, then 20, then 30, then 40. Now you're down to like your last match, and you need to get this fire going, and that's all you have is one match left. You've used up all your matches, and you're like, it's worked so many times before, and you just keep trying. But we all know, if we've been in this position with a box of matches, that if that one match doesn't light, you'll grab another one. You understand it's a dead match. But this person doesn't have another one to go to. This is their one and only one that they have left. They've used all the other ones, and so they know that it's a dead end. They know this, but the definition of insanity, right? So they think if they just keep trying, it's gonna spark. Thank you, Lord, hallelujah. It's going to spark. They're gonna eventually catch a spark if they just keep trying. But everyone else around them can see that it's not going to spark. look at the circumstances, right? But this person doesn't see that, right? And that's because that's what the devil does. The devil will walk beside you and make a big mess for you to clean up. And then when God says time's up, he walks off and leaves you with the mess. And you're the one left holding the bag, right? So anyways, so I'm going to leave it there. The Lord is saying that's enough for now. If the Lord gives me anything else on this, I'll be back. So just take this as a revelation and or confirmation, and that this is the energy at this time. This is the energy that's been ongoing. The Lord's saying since November. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. This energy's been going on since November, give or take. And, here we are in February now. And, this is what's happened. This is what happened last month. This is what happened yesterday. This is what's happening today. And this is probably what this person's going to be doing tomorrow. So don't worry about any of this. You are protected as usual, as always. No weapon formed against you shall ever prosper. And, this is the thing, is this is a personal revelation for myself, but also one that the Lord wanted me to share. So I know it's for others as well. And so the Lord has sent me here to say this and share this so that the right ears will come along and receive it and hear it. And then you can know how to move and what's happening, and take this revelation, okay, for yourself. So anyways, don't put it on if it doesn't fit. Like I started out saying, it's for a specific audience, one that I trust the Lord will lead to it and is right in perfect timing. So anyways, I hope this finds you all well, and take care, and God bless.